Good day, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mark Hagland. I'm a contributing editor to Medical Laboratory Observer, and it's our pleasure to welcome you to the ADLM annual conference, and it's my pleasure and honor to meet Christina Powell, who is Acute Care Diagnostics Global Marketing Leader for Werfen. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to plunge right in here. Let me ask you, we know that in vitro hemolysis occurs, but do we know exactly how prevalent it is in whole blood testing at the point of care? And is it a hospital-wide problem?
We know that it accounts for up to 70% of all preanalytical error, and it is absolutely prevalent throughout critical care settings and acute care settings throughout the hospital. So just to give you some statistics, the NICU is the most prevalent location for hemolysis. Up to 46% of samples are hemolyzed. ED is the next most prevalent clinical site, with anywhere between 8 and 18%. The ICU, all different types of ICUs also are not any stranger to hemolysis, between 4 and 5%, as well as the operating rooms at similar statistic. But the staggering part is that it actually goes undetected most often in point of care settings. So.
That's amazing. So what is the impact of hemolysis on potassium results, and what are the consequences of undetected hemolysis?
That's a great question. So I think the laboratory community understands very well that hemolysis ruptures red blood cells, and that can cause inaccurate results to occur. And when it comes to potassium, which is a critical result that's reported very often without the oversight of the laboratory in point-of-care settings. So it becomes a very big challenge and a blind spot, especially when you're thinking, okay, an elevated potassium, you might suspect that to be hemolyzed. But a normal potassium, you might not suspect that that is a hemolyzed sample that's masking a hypokalemic patient, which deserves a lot of attention immediately. So many consequences can happen from there.
That really is astonishing. So what solutions are available to detect hemolysis in blood gas testing?
No one has been able to integrate hemolysis detection into a blood gas analyzer, on whole blood especially, which has been perceived to be an impossible feat up until now, and we will talk about what we're delivering here today and unveiling with the JumPremier 7000.
How will hemolysis detection in point of care whole blood testing impact patient care?
That's a great question, and I think we can simply look to one of the most prevalent hemolysis sites within the hospital, the emergency department. It's also one of the more stressful clinical settings throughout hospital settings, and this is where you'll find hemolysis up to 18% of samples. So. In the emergency department, if you have a potassium that is elevated and you don't know if it is hemolyzed or not, you're going to be taking certain actions. And 39% of the time, an elevated potassium in the emergency department is actually falsely elevated and should be downgraded to either a normal patient sample or even lower, so a critical low value. So it's potentially improving patient treatment, of course, avoiding inappropriate treatment, and helping to expedite decision making in that setting where time and every minute matters to put the patient on the right pathway. Additionally, potassium in emergency departments, so it can have a pretty massive impact just in the ED alone, without even talking about the intensive care units, NICU, ORs, etc.
How does the hemolysis detection technology on the JumPremier 7000 work?
Okay, so the JumPremier 7000, I'll show you a little bit about that. So this is our all-in-one pack, so everything is contained, everything you need for testing, including our hemolysis detection, which is housed right here. So we have to break this into two parts. So first we have to be able to separate the plasma from the whole blood. Then there's mature ways to be able to detect hemolysis on that plasma, and that's exactly what we do here. So within the pack, We have acoustic technology, so sound waves that help to separate the whole blood and isolate a plasma region right within the sample pathway. And then we use mature lab technology to photometrically actually detect and measure the hemolysis quantity within the sample. And we do this entirely in line within the sample measurement process. It doesn't interrupt or compromise anything, so you get your full panel of results for blood gases, electrolytes, metabolites, co-oximetry, and hemolysis detection, all in 45 seconds.
And what has the feedback been from your initial customers?
So they have been very, very happy. So the laboratorians have been ecstatic at how it helps them to feel more confident in the results that they're providing to their clinical partners throughout the critical care settings that they serve. So being able to provide a potassium result, which again has a very important bearing on decision making for critical patients, that you know that is of the best quality, and if it isn't, you're going to get a flag and you're going to be told that it has hemolysis present. That's something that is so reassuring to the laboratory community, to point of care coordinators, that they feel really good about the results that they are responsible for the clinician partners that they have. The clinicians in turn are also very happy that it helps them to make better decisions for their patients based on more information. So when they do see, for example, a potassium that's elevated, they believe it, and they can believe it without doubt, and they can make fast decisions. If they see a hemolysis flag that is present on a normal patient result, they can make the appropriate decisions as well.
That's terrific. So what are the implications of this for point of care testing going into the future?
So I think that the first step is, if you do not measure the problem, you cannot solve it, right? So now with integrated hemolysis detection into the GEM Premier 7000, the blood gas platform, you are able to detect how prevalent it is in each and every setting. And our GemWeb Plus data management system actually has reports that tell you exactly how prevalent hemolysis is by setting, by operator, and by wherever the analyzer location is. So you can do different ways of viewing that prevalence. And once you measure it, you have a means to be able to focus your energy to solve and reduce the incidence of that problem. And then repeat. So it's always a continuous improvement process. You never want to just stop at, okay, I know I have hemolysis and I'm reporting things with a flag and everything is great. It's always with the ability to empower our point of care coordinators and our laboratory partners to have the information that they can take their testing program to the next level and have a continuous quality improvement paradigm in their hospital.
That's absolutely wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To everyone.
Congratulations to the organization who made it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for this, Christina. It's been great conversing with you. And thank you to you and our audience for viewing this video. This concludes this session. Have a great day.